Here's the thing, people are finally talking about it out loud, not on Reddit or some random podcast, but in real-life conversations.
Yeah, what has he done with this Netflix series? He's used his mother to sell it. Could there be a more grotesque exploitation or a more hypocritical one?
The question on everyone's mind is, how the heck are Meghan and Harry making all this money? What's going on with their Netflix show? He used his mom's story to sell it. Could there be a more messed up way to use someone? It's pretty hypocritical, too. When you look at their life right now, they've got a huge mansion in Montecito. They fly private, have full-time security, and wear fancy clothes that look like they're straight off a magazine cover. It just doesn't match the story they told us a few years ago. Remember that sit-down with Oprah? Harry said it clearly. They were cut off. No more royal money, no more Duchy of Cornwall income, nothing. Meghan even said she had to reach out to her old contacts just to get back on her feet. They seemed hopeless back then. So it looks like they're turning into the royal Kardashians. At first, people felt bad for them, right? It had this whole underdog vibe. Two people leaving the world's most powerful monarchy to start fresh. It was kind of inspiring, honestly. But here's where it gets strange. They didn't just survive. They thrived. And fast. Like, way too fast. Within months, there were Netflix deals, Spotify podcasts, book deals, speaking gigs with six-figure paychecks. And don't forget the merch lines and other brand stuff that came and went. Their income shot up overnight. Now making money isn't a crime. If someone's got name recognition, charm, and a good PR team, they can make money from almost anything in today's world. But the red flags are not coming from angry Twitter users or tabloids anymore. We're talking about actual financial experts, government auditors, and lawyers starting to wonder if something's going on. There's talk that UK and US agencies are quietly looking into how Meghan and Harry are handling their money. It's not about whether they're making money. It's about how it's moving, where it's being declared, and if anything shady is happening. People are talking about offshore accounts, shell companies, and suspicious tax filings. This isn't just about spending on luxury anymore, it's about legality. Let's face it, their lifestyle costs a lot. Like way more than most people could ever imagine. Security alone costs them millions every year. Sure, Netflix and Spotify deals might bring in cash, but does that explain all the big purchases they're making? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to the story than we know.
They've been damn hopeless at everything. So it seems to me they're resorting to becoming basically a version of the royal Kardashians.
Here's the thing that's bugging a lot of people. They built their brand on being victims. Victims of the royal family, the press, racism, tradition. Every deal seems to use that story. Meghan's truth, Harry's trauma, their royal fallout. It's all content now. They're not just selling projects, they're selling pain. And while that might get clicks, streams, and book sales, it also opens them up for more questions. Because when your whole empire is built on being mistreated, people are going to wonder who's actually getting hurt and who's cashing in on it. Right now, their empire looks perfect, but behind the scenes, there's noise. Investigators are tracking financial trails. Lawyers are bracing for questions. Insiders say things might get messier than just a bad headline. This isn't about fixing PR anymore. It could turn into a courtroom drama. And it's not just about Meghan and Harry, it's about power. How far someone can stretch their story before the numbers don't make sense anymore. The stakes have never been higher. Look at their recent public appearances. Every move feels planned. Red carpets, podcast interviews, edited sound bites, and magazine covers. It's not just fame anymore, it's a business. And every piece of content they put out seems designed to get just enough attention to keep them in the news. But the whole thing is starting to feel more like a scramble than a strategy. Because when you're using your life story to make money, there's only so much material to work with before the audience starts wondering what's real and what's for sale. Meghan's brand has changed a lot. Gone are the quiet charity visits and activist-driven moves. Now it's about wellness ventures, lifestyle blogs, possible makeup lines, and even rumors about working with luxury fashion brands. It makes sense in the celebrity world, but less so for someone who said she was done with public life. There's a feeling that her new empire isn't based on values, but on visibility. The more eyes on her, the more money she makes. And when you're chasing attention like that, you can't afford to disappear, even for a second. Harry's book did great, sure, but it didn't just share his side of the story, it burned bridges. His family, the press, the palace, No one came out of it untouched. While his honesty sold books, it also brought him under a new kind of pressure. If you say you're telling the truth, people expect total transparency. And that's exactly what financial investigators are asking for now. Transparency. Not just in words, but with money. They're not just looking at one or two receipts, they're digging into everything. The structure of the deals, who signed the papers, where the money's coming from, what taxes are being filed. Word is that several of their revenue streams are under investigation. Not because of jealousy, but because the numbers are moving fast across borders and through a bunch of different companies and trusts. Let's not forget the optics. When you tell the world that you're financially struggling and then live like royalty, people will start to notice. That's not just a PR issue. It can catch the eye of legal authorities, especially when you're using that struggling story to make millions. That's when tax agencies stop listening to interviews and start watching bank accounts. Insiders say some of the foundations tied to the couple are also being looked at. Not because they have done anything wrong, but because that's what happens when famous people mix charity and business. Every dollar coming in and going out has to be accounted for, especially when you're pushing a brand while making emotional appeals for charity. There's also curiosity about who's running their business. Are their advisors just PR people? Or are they skilled financial operators moving money in ways that stay under the radar? That's why this isn't just about gossip anymore. It's a real financial investigation. When royalty and celebrity collide in the age of internet capitalism, things get messy. If something's been pushed too far, it won't be fixed by a PR team. It'll be lawyers in court. Meghan and Harry are no longer just royals with a media presence. They've become a business model, and that model depends on staying in the spotlight and turning headlines into cash. But cracks are starting to show. The deals are coming faster and more desperately. It's like watching a startup burn through money too quickly just to keep going. Meghan's latest ventures have made even more people curious. Wellness products, a possible cooking show, social media teasers. It's like she's trying to start a dozen businesses at once. It's not illegal to be ambitious, but investors and regulators get cautious when someone tries to build too much too fast, especially when the foundation is fame and controversy, not steady value. Behind the scenes, some brand partners are backing off because they're worried about their reputation. Harry's image is also taking a hit. The vulnerable, emotional version of him from interviews has turned into a man juggling lawsuits, book promotions, and awkward press moments. His credibility took a hit when timelines didn't match up, when certain claims were challenged, and when his family stayed silent. That silence speaks louder than anything they could say. Legal experts say if things keep going, the investigations could spread from finances to reputation-based contracts, misrepresentation, and even misuse of charity money. Nothing has been proven yet, but once financial agencies start digging, they don't stop at the surface. It's not about whether Meghan and Harry did something illegal. It's about whether they knew certain financial decisions could help them avoid taxes, bend reporting rules, or use their charity brand to boost their image. That paints a very different picture. Not one of independence, but of manipulation and exploitation. And in today's world, that's a dangerous story to tell. Fans are split. Some still support them, thinking every move is smart and necessary. Others are getting tired of the constant revelations, lawsuits, and deals. What used to feel fresh now feels rehearsed. And the big question everyone's quietly asking is, what's the end game here? Are they trying to be the next power couple outside the monarchy? Are they building a legacy or just trying to stay relevant at all costs? Or worse, are they just trying to outrun a financial mess they can't slow down and fix? There's talk that lawyers are getting ready for anything. Tax audits, subpoenas, maybe even depositions if things get serious. If that happens, the curtain gets pulled back all the way. No more PR control, no more shaping their story, just facts, bank statements, and paper trails. And the thing about paper trails, they don't lie. They either confirm the story or destroy it. For Meghan and Harry, the risk now isn't just embarrassment, it's full-blown legal trouble. Because when your brand is built on honesty but the money doesn't match up, it's not just a contradiction, it's a crisis. And this time, no Netflix deal can fix that.